The Fellowship of Secrets, a story by Eby's Heart. I want an heir from my subject Eddie. You have just 1 year to give me a child that will take over from him, so pick a wife now. Prophet Dave and his wife, Pastor Mrs. Monica, the general overseers of God's Children Ministry, were kneeling in front of a big mirror inside their room, taking orders from a dark smoke in form of a human being that was talking angrily to them through the mirror. Eddie was their first son and the chosen one. A few days later, during church service, Pastor Mrs. Monica, the Mommy Geo of God's Children Ministry, came to the altar to make a special announcement. My son will be picking a wife amongst the devoted single sisters soon. The entire church buzzed with excitement, and all the women with grown-up daughters adjusted themselves proudly. My daughter will be picked, I am sure of it, Deaconess Sarah muttered to her best friend. Everyone should pray with their eligible daughters while we pray with our son for God's guidance. You know our son is not in the country, but he will join us soon, Pastor Monica said and smiled proudly. And note that our son can pick anyone that the Spirit leads him to. As our first son and the one God has chosen to lead this ministry after us, our son deserves a strong woman of God from a good and godly family. Pastor Monica said and paused for the mothers and the young women to calm down from their excitement. After her speech, she stepped down proudly while everyone clapped. The entire church began 7 days fasting and prayers for God to direct their general overseer to make the right choice. On the 8th day, Deaconess Sarah and her daughter Ella were expecting a phone call that Ella had been chosen, but got none. Rather, a poor and undeserving woman got a call from the Mommy Geo. Hello, Sister Agnes, come to the church tomorrow. It's your Mommy General that is speaking, Pastor Monica said with so much authority. Oh, Mama, Amen Ma, I will be there Ma, Sister Agnes said while holding her phone with both hands. She knelt down in her living room to answer the call from Pastor Monica. She was still kneeling as the line was silent, even though the call was still going. Come with your daughter, Mercy, Pastor Monica said, and the line went dead. Sister Agnes exclaimed and wanted to know when to come, but noticed that the call was off already. She panicked and called her daughter Mercy to come. Mommy of God, Pastor Monica just called me to bring you to the church tomorrow. What could she want with a poor widow like me? How did she even get my number, know my name, and even your name? Sister Agnes asked her shocked daughter all these questions at once. They both danced happily for the privilege. As early as 6 a.m., Sister Agnes and her daughter Mercy were already at the church. They didn't want their Mommy Geo waiting, and because they were not given a particular time to come, they went very early just in case. After waiting for 6 hours, Pastor Monica called them into her office and said, "The Lord has chosen your daughter Mercy for my son, so get her ready, because the wedding will be in 3 months' time." Pastor Monica said and faked a smile while ordering her assistant to send them away with some cash. She couldn't even stand them. They stink of poverty and curse, Pastor Monica shouted once her assistant came back in. Sorry Ma, her assistant tried to calm her down. We just have to choose them to be on the safer side. Eddie, our son, is special. He is the soul of our ministry, and his spiritual father needs an heir, Pastor Monica said and broke down in tears. If not because of trying to preserve our ministry, this type of people will never enter my office. In that 3 months of wedding preparation, Mercy and her family never met or spoke to Pastor Eddie, their pastor's son. They were told that the Lord was against it and that their son was outside the country. It was a few days after their wedding that Mercy realized why they chose her. A few days after their wedding, Mercy woke up at night and, as usual, her husband was nowhere to be found. He never slept by her side. She paced around their room, many things going through her head. Her husband had locked her inside their room again. 4 days now since their wedding, she had prayed as Mommy Geo advised, but tonight she didn't want to pray. She brought out the spare key she had stolen from the bunch of keys and tiptoed towards their room door. She put the key in the door and it opened at once. Where could he be? Mercy walked outside slowly with fear, wondering what would happen if he saw her. Just then, She heard an odd sound of footsteps and turned around in shock to know where the noise was coming from. She saw her husband, Pastor Eddie, naked, crawling on all fours with so much speed like a dog and making a very scary noise like a wild animal. She started shaking and tried to run back inside, but the sound of the door made her mysterious husband rush towards her, and she blacked out. "Oh Mercy, you scared us. What happened?" Mercy woke up to find Mommy Gio and Pastor Eddie, her husband, watching her with sympathy while a camera was placed by the side recording her. She slowly tried to get up and noticed that she was tied to the bed and became terrified. "Oh, we wanted to make sure you will not hurt yourself, so we tied you up," Pastor Monica said, smiling at the camera. "As for the camera, it is to keep you in check. One word outside, and this video is enough to send you permanently to the psychiatric hospital with our connection. So know your place. Eddie, my son, is still your Lord and husband, and you must overlook whatever you don't understand about him and keep your mouth shut." As they were talking, Mercy heard her mother's voice and started crying. Her mother was called so that they could convince her that her daughter was possessed by a demon and that she had been acting funny and running away from Pastor Eddie, her husband. Mercy was shocked when her mother came in and started crying that the demon inside Mercy should leave Mercy alone. "Mama, please, let Daddy lay his healing hands upon my daughter. I don't want her to be overcome by the demon," Mercy's mother said while on her knees. When Mercy's mother left, they untied Mercy and Monica laughed so hard at her. "You were chosen to give us a child and nothing more. Eddie is our powerhouse, the source of strength for our ministry, and you must keep shut or we will destroy your entire family." They were still talking when a certain humming sound started coming out from the room at the far end of the corridor. Monica ran and knelt down before the door in front of Mercy, who was watching in shock. Mercy had opened that door before but saw a wall and wondered, how can there be a wall covered with a door? Eddie immediately tore off his cloth and started crawling like a dog towards the room. The door opened, revealing what seemed like another world filled with darkness and red-hot smoke. Eddie ran inside and disappeared. Once Eddie disappeared, Monica went upstairs to that same large mirror inside her room and knelt down. She muttered some things and the mirror came alive. Inside the mirror, Eddie was tying their church members who were already trapped. All of them that were tied up had a pipe attached to their backs where all their spiritual nutrients were going out from. Their health, wealth, purity, and even sanity, all left through the pipe. All the people tied up there were suffering one heavy illness or the other. Some were so poor and financially dependent on the church's charity. The Mommy Gio and the Daddy Gio convinced the entire church that their first son, Pastor Eddie, was overseeing their branch abroad. They also said he would come home to take over the ministry when they became old. Meanwhile, Eddie, their first son, had not left their estate since he turned 20 and was chosen by their God. In fact, outside their estate, he was just a dog and not even human. This was something Mercy was yet to find out about. He never went to school or anywhere else. He was used by his parents for the growth of their church business and had been locked up for almost 19 years. They only married a wife for him because the source of their wealth and connection, the god of smoke, was asking for an heir, and they would do anything to keep prospering. Their other 2 children were always in the country and in the church too. This was why Mercy was chosen to be his wife, a daughter of a nobody, with a mother so poor, unexposed, and helpless. Even on their wedding day, Monica's other son, Pastor Emma, was disguised to look like his brother, Pastor Eddie. Pastor Eddie used to head the choir until he turned 20 and the god of smoke that gave their family wealth chose him. So, Pastor Monica and her family had successfully convinced everyone he was abroad, while using Pastor Emma, her second son, to confuse them. The next Sunday, which was supposed to be their first Thanksgiving as a married couple, Mercy was warned to behave herself as a woman of God. "If you say a word outside about what you have seen and known, we will kill your entire family," they threatened her. At the church on that day, Mercy sang like an angel and prayed like never before. She needed to sound so happy and convincing. "Our dear son, Pastor Eddie, has returned to his base abroad. Something inevitable came up and he needed to be there, Daddy Gio said, smiling and praising God for the successful wedding celebration. Every member of their church was convinced with their lies except Deaconess Sarah. She knew Monica too well. She knew Monica despised poor people, so marrying the poorest and most helpless member of their church screamed danger and secret. I must get to the root of whatever they are hiding, Deaconess Sarah murmured under her breath. So she decided to hug Mercy specially after the church service. Being on a cue to shake Mercy's hand like the other church members pained Deaconess Sarah, but she had no choice. This is the only way to speak to that girl since she is surrounded by many bodyguards, Deaconess Sarah whispered and sighed. Oh dear, congratulations, Deaconess Sarah said and hugged Mercy. Meet me at the women's restroom now, I know you are in danger and I can help, Deaconess Sarah whispered into Mercy's ear. Her words shocked Mercy and she started sweating that instant. I will be right back, Mercy told the troop of congregation on a cue to see her. 2 bodyguards followed her immediately while Monica watched from afar. Make sure you know where she is going to, Monica told the guards on the phone. Let me use this general bathroom, I cannot go up to my office, Mercy said and ran into the toilet and whispered, Are you here? Just then, she opened the toilet door and saw Deaconess Sarah hanging from the ceiling. Someone had killed her. She screamed in a loud voice. The police were called, and they concluded that Deaconess Sarah took her life. She never got over the fact that the Spirit of God didn't lead us to her daughter for marriage, Monica said to the congregation she was addressing at the church about Deaconess Sarah's death. Everyone in the church believed her but Deaconess Sarah's daughter, Ella. She knew her mother too well and believed someone hurt her. She just don't know who, but as an investigative journalist, she swore to find out. This is what you get when you try to cross us. We are ruthless and no one dares us and survives it, Monica said boldly to Mercy once they got home. Get ready, you will lay with your husband tonight. We need an heir as soon as possible, Monica said, smiling defiantly. Mercy was so sacred. For the few days she had spent in their house, her husband had locked her inside every night, and now they want her to lay with him? Being a poor girl with no life experience, she was just too scared and didn't know what to do. The phone they bought for her was controlled by them, and her family can only reach her through Monica. Her mother believed they knew what was best for her and had advised her to listen and do whatever they told her since they hear directly from God. That night, Mercy, who didn't know what to do, knelt down for almost an hour praying. She called on God and asked him to come and fight for her. After praying, she laid down boldly without fear and slept off. At around 2 a.m., she was woken by a very strange noise. When she opened her eyes, she saw her husband naked and crawling on the floor like a dog while his hands and feet were looking strange and his face very scary and odd. But to her shock, she didn't feel afraid at all. She sat up on her bed and started praying again. Then she noticed that her husband was not seeing her, because he was crawling around the room without looking at her at all, making a very scary noise that sounded as if 10 persons were speaking at the same time. After a while, her husband, in form of that scary creature, left the room. When he left, Mercy, who was still praying, intensified her prayer while still on the bed without coming down. The next thing she saw made her shake with fear and horror. She saw her husband coming back with speed, but this time a giant dark smoke in human shape was marching behind him and shaking the ground with loud footsteps. The smoke stood in front of her and roared, "Where is she? Where is she?" Mercy thought while still praying. Just then Mercy heard running footsteps of Monica, Daddy Gio, and their 2 children. They all knelt before the smoke, pleading, "We will find her. She can't leave this estate, there are dogs and security everywhere. Find her now or face my wrath," the smoke shouted and walked away. "Find that silly girl now," Monica shouted on top of her voice. Mercy, still on her bed, watched as they ran helter-skelter, looking for her. They searched the whole night and even went to Mercy's mother to report that the demon controlling Mercy had taken her out of their estate without anyone noticing. Her mother cried and started shouting that her enemies were trying to ruin her. They only went to Mercy's mother to be sure Mercy didn't go home to hide. When they didn't see Mercy there, They checked at the church and even went to late Deaconess Sarah's home to check due to desperation. Monica believed Mercy discussed something with the dead deaconess and wondered if the deaconess told Mercy to run away to her home before she died. They met Ella, the dead deaconess's daughter, and asked her if she had seen their wife. Ella said no, but this particular question triggered Ella's curiosity so much. "I need to see Mercy," Ella told herself while she watched Monica and her 2 children leave. When they got home at dawn, they saw Mercy kneeling inside her room praying. Monica walked up to Mercy, gave her a hot slap and shouted, "Where have you been? Who did you see? What did you tell them about us?" Mercy didn't cry, she didn't even move, she calmly said, "I have been kneeling here praying, I didn't go to anywhere." "Praying? Did you just say praying? Oh my God, Mercy has finished us. Who asked you to pray? Who are you to pray inside my house? We do not pray here. Who asked you to pray? Don't you ever say the name of God inside this home ever again. We have our own God whom we pray to, and as a member of this family now, you must obey and pray to him with us," Monica and Daddy Gio shouted at the same time. Mercy was shocked while she answered them with her head bowed. "So if they don't pray to the Most High God, does it mean we have all been praying to their God all these while without even knowing?" Mercy questioned herself silently while shaking with fear. She couldn't wrap her head around it. So all these people in our church are just being deceived. I must do something, she thought silently while tears rolled down her face. "But our church is called Children of God's Ministry?" Mercy managed to ask them in fear. "Yes, we mean our God of Smoke. He has given us so many things, much more than the Almighty you are referring to. We used to serve the Almighty, but things never moved in our ministry. We couldn't even change our clothes until we met the God of Smoke. He changed our lives and uplifted our ministry. So don't ever pray to any other God in this house," Monica said and stormed out. "And get ready, we have morning service now," Monica shouted while leaving. "God of Smoke?" Mercy thought in disbelief. "He will take some church members' lives this week because we disappointed him. I am making arrangement already," Mercy overheard Monica and Daddy Gio discussing. "I will announce it this morning in church," Monica concluded and joined Mercy outside. "I wonder how they will take people's lives without anyone noticing. I will try and speak to someone," Mercy said silently. When they got to church, Ella hung around, trying everything possible to talk to Mercy. She needed to be more discreet so that she wouldn't die like her mother. Mercy was listening to everything Monica and Daddy Gio were whispering to one another. She wanted to know how they were going to pull off the death of their members, but heard nothing until the service ended and she went outside for her usual meet and greet with their church members. Immediately she went outside, she saw the church's outreach bus and it dawned on her that they might kill some church members through accident. Her eyes widened in shock while tears started rolling down. So as Ella was giving her a piece of paper that she had written a message on, Mercy couldn't concentrate. She was thinking of how to stop the bus from leaving the church premises. But when she saw her mother and younger brother going into the bus with the others, she snapped. "Stop! Stop!" Mercy shouted and ran towards the bus in tears. "They will kill you all, come down now," she continued, shouting at the top of her voice. Her mother heard her voice and became scared. She ran down, held Mercy and said, "Stop it. Do not let this demon possessing you win." Her words touched Mercy, and she shouted at her mother for the first time, "You foolish mother, think for yourself for once. How can you worship a man and woman like yourself in the name of worshipping God?" Her mother staggered back, crying, "This is not my daughter. The demon controlling her has taken complete control of her." Before Mercy could realize what was going on, 4 hands held her tight while shouting, "We bind you, demon from hell, leave our sister alone, leave Mercy alone." They dragged Mercy away while she screamed, "Don't enter the bus, Mama." Mercy's mother wanted to follow the people that took Mercy away, but they blocked her and told her to go back. "You fool, you think you are smart? This is the last time you will be seen in public since you don't get the message. When the God of Smoke puts his air in you through our son, you will become his property forever," Monica shouted angrily at Mercy. Should we still continue with the outreach? Won't people say that the accident was predicted by Mercy? One of their guards asked Monica in front of Mercy. Go ahead with our plan. We cannot fail the god of smoke, he is too impatient. Besides, we will turn it on Mercy and tell everyone the demon controlling her caused the accident. Monica responded with a wicked smile. Remember what to do. Drive them into a ditch and make sure no soul survives, especially Mercy's family. The god of smoke specifically requested for them to teach this silly girl a lesson, Monica said and spat at Mercy, who was sitting helplessly on the floor. When Mercy's mother was coming back in tears to join the other church members who were already sitting inside the bus, singing in a loud voice, Ella dragged her by the hand and said, "Come and see Mercy here." Ella only said that so that she would agree to follow her. She dragged her to where she had parked her car and said, "I need to tell you something about Mercy." Mercy's mother tried to object, saying that the outreach would be starting in an hour, but Ella insisted that she must follow her. Seeing how her daughter was dragged away and everything that happened, Mercy's mother agreed to follow Ella. Ella drove a little away from the church and stopped. "Your daughter is in danger," Ella said and showed Mercy's mother all the things she had gathered from her investigation. "Pastor Eddie is not abroad, he is mentally sick and living in the God's Children estate with his parents. From what I gathered, they want to do something to your daughter that will make her be exactly like their son Pastor Eddie. So she was still talking when a slap landed on her face. "How dare you speak ill of our daddy and mommy? They are God's chosen and anyone speaking ill of them will go to hell," Mercy's mother shouted and opened the car door to leave. But Ella ran after her and said, "If you are in doubt, visit your daughter with your kinsman and insist on speaking with her alone. Do it today, because tomorrow might be too late." Ella entered her car after saying that, leaving Mercy's mother in a serious dilemma and deep thought. She shrugged and ran back to church to join the outreach. But when she got there, the bus was gone and almost everyone had left too. The church compound was so quiet now. She was going inside an office to ask the route the bus would take so that she could go and meet them when she heard sobbing. She hid by the wall and waited to see who was crying. "Mercy," her mother cried. She watched as Monica slapped Mercy over and over while saying, "No one will believe you, even your useless mother, so behave yourself." Mercy's mother didn't know when she made a sound in tears, and they all turned. "Who is there?" Monica shouted. Mercy's mother didn't know what gave her the idea of hiding under the car that was parked near her. When one of their guards ran towards her and saw no one, he walked back to Monica and said it was nothing, no one is there. Monica entered her car and her driver drove off with Mercy wailing inside. When they got home, they locked Mercy inside her room. Mercy was not even crying about herself, she was crying that her mother and brother may die for what they don't know, in the name of serving God in a godless church. Throughout that day, Mercy paced about in her room, listening in on any conversation Monica was having to know if they succeeded in their evil scheme. Meanwhile, Mercy's mother ran to her elder brother's house. He was living in the same city with them. "Come, Mercy is in trouble. I don't know what is happening, but I saw them beating her, and someone told me very unbelievable things today. I need to go and see Mercy now," Mercy's mother cried. His brother, who stopped attending God's Children Church years ago after losing his first child mysteriously in the church premises, had always told his sister to leave the church. So as Mercy's mother was explaining in tears, his brother reminded her of his warning the day she called to inform him about Mercy's marriage to them. "I told you that they are evil, but your blind followership wouldn't let you think for yourself." His brother, who was a businessman already, has a group of aggrieved parents who have lost their children or relatives mysteriously in the church. So they all joined him to visit the estate of the God's Children Church. "I am here with my kinsman to see my daughter Mercy," Mercy's mother told their security. The security refused to let them in and called Monica on the phone. "Tell them their daughter traveled out of the country." When Mercy's mother heard that, she fell on the ground crying. "I want to see my daughter. I just saw her now. I want to see her. I know she is here," she kept screaming. When Mercy heard the commotion outside, She thought the bus had been pushed into a ditch and started crying at the top of her voice. She was crying and shouting her mother and brother's names. A servant came to the window and said, "I know I will die here because my parents have been killed already in order to keep me here permanently, but you still have a chance. I am sure a plan to kill your family that can fight for you is underway, but since you still have someone fighting for you, I will risk my life and let you out." Mercy looked at her, shocked, and asked, "Is anyone asking after me?" "Yes, your mother is at the gate." Immediately Mercy heard that, she started crying tears of joy. The servant opened the door for her and Mercy ran outside. She was already outside when they noticed. They ran after her, but Monica called them to stop. "Let her go, we cannot let this wretch drag us down." Mercy was surprised they didn't run after her and wondered what they were up to. "Where is Fanny?" Mercy asked about her brother in shock. Her mother looked at her and said, "Fanny is in the bus that you warned us not to join." "They got us, Mema, they have taken Fanny," Mercy shouted, crying. The police arrived and sent them away from the church's estate. "Let's see if the world will take the word of a nobody over God's ordained like us," Monica said boastfully. "At least we got their only son. Get me the press for an early statement in case she tries anything funny," Monica shouted at her assistant. Before Mercy could get home, Monica's press statement was already everywhere. She told everyone that Mercy was possessed and insane and that she was a danger to the ministry. Everyone instantly believed her. It wasn't long before the news of the church's outreach bus accident was all over the news. Mercy and her mother mourned so badly. Mercy's mother could not believe she had been blind all this while. "Push the servant that released Mercy into the mirror and lock her in forever," Monica told Eddie, her son. Mercy and her mother were mourning when her brother walked in. He had survived because he had dropped off on the way to visit a friend. So Mercy came out alive and no one in her family died too. But she vowed to bring the multi-million-dollar church down. Together with Ella, they began thorough investigation and research into the God's Children Church. Their aim was to bring it down and save their sheep. When you follow blindly, you die blindly too. Put your faith in God and avoid herd fellowship, because some people will follow anything that is said on a pulpit, even when it is obviously wrong.